Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Welcome to our 29th session of webinar series Captain of Industry, brought to you by Faculty of Engineering UTM Johor Bahru. We are initiating university industry collaboration during unforeseen pandemic situation, since Movement Control Order MCO until now in Conditional Movement Control Order, to have a platform with our Captain of Industry to share their thoughts, way forward and challenges during post-COVID-19. Now we are streaming live from Facebook Faculty of Engineering UTM. Today we would like to welcome Yang Berbahagia Hj Zairulshahfuddin bin Zainal Abidin, Chief Executive Officer Islamic Relief Malaysia, with his interesting topic today entitled Power of Volunteerism and Charity. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Professor Dato' Engineer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq Dato' Abdul Kadir, Dean Faculty of Engineering, to introduce our captain today. Over to you, Dato'.
Thank you very much, Murni. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to UTM Engineering Captain of Industry. My name is Muhammad Rafiq and I am the Dean of Engineering, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. Today, in the month of Rabiul Awal, where we here in Malaysia celebrating Maulidur Rasul, we welcome the Chief Executive Officer of Islamic Relief Malaysia, Tuan Hj Zairulshahfuddin bin Zainal Abidin, to our Captain of Engineering webinar. A bit about our distinguished speaker today. Tuan Hj Zairulshahfuddin has 24 years of working experience with the Malaysian government, SIRIM Bhd, and Malaysian oil and gas private sector, Petronas, on top of 35 years of NGO and voluntary experiences. These include 10 years of experiences in implementing strategic planning outputs, conducting and facilitating strategic planning. He is currently the Deputy Chairman too of Yayasan Sukarelawan Siswa, YSS, under the Ministry of Education Malaysia, and has been appointed as Adjunct Professor at Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So here now is Tuan Hj Zairulshahfuddin bin Zainal Abidin, Chief Executive Officer of Islamic Relief Malaysia, on the power of volunteerism and charity. Tuan Hj Zairulshahfuddin, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Dato' IR Muhammad Rafiq Kadir, as the Dean of Engineering Faculty of Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all my colleagues who are here today, who managed to be with us and to maybe listen a little bit to my sharing. I would like to say it as actually sharing for today, because as your slot is what Captain of Industry, I'm currently now, as what has been mentioned by Datuk just now, is actually leading an NGO who is helping or serving people in more than 45 countries in the world, including Malaysia. And at the moment, since 1984, we have been helping more than about 120 to 130 million people, regardless of race, color, religion, and so on and so forth. Okay. With the topic that we have here, okay, before I start, I would like to also take the opportunity to congratulate UTM again for your awesome ranking, yeah, in the World University ranking. Congratulations, and I hope we will continue to produce engineers who are actually very close to the society, who have got a very strong emotional and social quotient, who is not only looking for just numbers and figures in their paper certificate, but who is also credible and actually ready to give to the best that they can give to the community and to the society. Now, I've got about 80 or 90 slides here, but don't worry, it's not about formulas and so on, but I guess it's more of sharing with you what I have as an engineer and the kind of a journey which I've actually gone through for the last basically 40 years since my mechanical engineering days in the US. Okay, this is the topic, power of volunteerism and charity. Now, in life, we we must actually ask ourselves why we are here in this world. What's the objective of being in this world? What is the end of, what is the end of success? What do we do after we have become a successful engineer? What do we do after we have finished our master's or our PhD, and so on and so forth? Now, I'd like to do my sharing for today by dividing things into four different subtopics. Number one is, of course, here, why are we actually here? And of course, I would then move on with a few more slides to actually share with you about the importance of having the right mindset as an engineering student, where I myself have been an engineering student during that time in University of Missouri, Columbia, in USA, from 1980 to 1984. And at the same time, then I've been living in a few countries before. And of course, it has been a journey where when I was working with the government, as well as when I was in the private sector, I've never actually leave behind or forsake my volunteering life, because at the end of the day, that is what that makes who I am or who we are today. Okay, and then of course the third part is to share with you a little bit about the technology advances in our humanitarian world, or in this humanitarian industry, they call it the third sector or the charity sector, which is very matured in the Western country. But of course, in Malaysia and in this part of the world, inshallah, it is also growing very well. And last but not least, we go for conclusion, and then from there on, I'll be happy to actually address any question and answers. Okay, you will see here that Ahib's recently prepared this card, but it tells you a lot of things, that leadership without humanity is a body without soul. And of course, because we are marketing for our hips, then but the storyline or the narrative is still about volunteering and community programs. Yeah, so the small point that I like to also mention here is that when we talk about leadership, in this case, is I'm referring to a natural leadership, not the official appointed leadership of becoming a manager or general manager or CEO, or that kind of thing. I truly believe that when I started my working life in 1985, natural leadership traits and attitude is always in you. It's up to you whether you like to sharpen it up, and you want to sharpen your saw and give the best for yourself and for the people you're working with, or not. Okay, so that is actually a choice which everyone can make. So what more, I'm proud, to be, by the way, I graduated as a mechanical engineer in 1984 from the University of Missouri, Columbia. And what I learned from my lecturers and professors back then is that engineering, it's about putting the sciences of chemistry, physics, modern maths, maths, whatever, into a package which is then useful to the people. At the end of the day, it's about making things good, so that the community, so that the people out there, so that whoever you are serving with can benefit and improve their life. Okay, and improve their life. That has been the principle which I've been hold to for a long time, and that actually carries me a long way after that. And of course, in the next slide, you will see that how along the way in my corporate years, as well as even when I was in SIRIM, we were exposed to actually a lot of leaders, a lot of management and leadership courses that we need to go through, and we're talking about teamwork. And as you can see, this powerful word, it is saying that we rise by lifting others. Dear colleagues, as an engineer, the previous point which I have shared before is that it's how best the knowledge that you have got from your university and from your academic days is being brought forward, so that it can help to improve and to empower humankind. If I say mankind, nanti kang the woman would say, why can't you say womankind? So let's say humankind here. Yeah, it's how your knowledge can actually benefit others. And I like to quote what Steve Jobs used to say, that at 6 a.m. he made a practice to look into the mirror, to reflect upon himself, to say that in today, if this is going to be the last day of my life, would I want to do what actually I'm about to do today? So it's something like you need to always question yourself. Why do you come to UTM? Why do you take engineering in the first place? I mean, why are you here? Is it because of your mom? Is it because of yourself? Is it because of just fame or things like that? I would prefer, humbly, to say that this mindset thing, or this big picture thing, is very important for you to become a successful engineer as you graduate, as you move forward. And of course, I just like to relate this again. I just like to relate this again. I'm very happy to be part of this journey, by the way, because uh, I was being offered in 1987 when I was still working in SIRIM, in Shah Alam, to actually do a part-time lecturing for your materials class. I totally forgot about that, but that time it's Mr. Awaluddin Shahrum, a retired professor now. I think he's in Madinah with his wife. But I was reporting to him, teaching third-year students about material engineering, about compression tests, about tensile tests, about brakes, about reinforced steel bar, high tensile deformed bar, and things like that. Um, so I'm close to UTM, alhamdulillah. Yeah. But what I would like to relate you more in my sharing here is that UTM itself is talking about prospering lives. It should not be taken. This is because the minister wants it, or this is because the vice chancellor wants it, or because Professor Datuk wants it. It's because of UTM itself. You are part of that big awesome legacy of how UTM itself is talking about in the core values of UTM. There's a mention of integrity, there's a mention of sustainability, of synergy, of excellence. It says it all. It also mentions in UTM's mission about innovative technologies for the universal well-being, and of course, and I mean, and prosperity. It fits the bill. It fits the bill, really. Whatever specialty that you are in or you're going to be in, it fits the bill of the big picture of UTM in finally giving back to the external and the internal stakeholders of UTM itself, of how we can continue to impact others. And of course, I like UTM. When you say about prosperity, about kemakmuran, and we say about well-being, about kesejahteraan, I mean, this is part of our. This is if not all, it's a big part of our story today. So the second point is, if I were to move and with my sharing, it's about your mindset and what the industry wants. Dear colleagues, brothers and sisters, I mean. At the end of the day, is during my days in Petronas, by the way, I've been invited by our central HR to become a panel of interviewer to quite a number of students. I'm not going to mention here from which university, by the way, but from the answers that they have given, you can really understand or know whether he or she had been doing volunteering or charity work, had actually gone down to see the sufferings or to see the challenges that is being faced in reality on the ground, or is he or she just a bookworm, just to for his or her own self, uh, just thinking about him or her, and not caring about others. We as interviewers, with our small experience that we can actually detect this even in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Now, look, let me give you a soalan bocho, or a leak, uh, a question with it's an open answer. It's an open book. I mean, question here. In volunteering and charity, trust me, believe me, my small 35, 39, 38 years or 40 years now, coming to 4 decades of doing this thing. In the industry, we want to build successful people. We want to have great employees, especially now, post-COVID, when things are very challenging. Definitely the industry, or if even if you run your own business, you want to do the best of the best, uh, and of course, as far as corporates, as far as government is concerned, I'm sure they wanted to take the best of the best. Now, your mindset must be very clear here, that you one day, you need to have a big picture and must be very ambitious enough to become a successful person. I don't have time to actually elaborate on this slide, but probably you can see here that I just want to highlight some of the very important things that in the white slide on the successful people, you can see the characteristic that's also very important here is about accepting responsibility and talking about ideas, not talking about people and backbiting and things like that. But we talk about ideas. We talk about how to solve the problem. We talk about how more we can work better, more effective, design-wise, cost-effective-wise, implementation-wise. Is it commercially viable or not, and things like that. Of course, at the same time, you know, it's about also complementing. How do you complement each other? How do you become a great team player to make sure that the synergy comes in? Now, I move to the next slide about great employees. We would like and we would love to have great employees, and great employees can only come when they take the opportunity during their university days, not only to focus on their academic life, but to take that opportunity to go out of your comfort zone, you know, to go and be in the society, to build your sense of empathy, your sense of sympathy, so that you can embrace change easily. You would love doing great work, yeah, and you will be always motivated by a sense of excellence, and you hate to waste time, and you become a great team leader because you know that. And of course you take responsibility. Again, it's being repeated here again, you take responsibility, you be accountable, because at the end of the day, as an example, what you know, when I by the way, I do really quote unquote crazy things. I was telling Professor Swaimi just now. You go beyond the normal that what people do. As an example, in 2005, when I was still with Petronas, I decided to take unpaid leave because there was no policy in Petronas that say that you can take unrecorded leave and go and do humanitarian mission. So I took no, I just took my leave. I paid for my own expenses, and I went to Aceh to actually lead a Malaysian NGO in doing our humanitarian work there. That was the first time which I saw the impact of tsunami. You know, we were carrying bags and bags of dead bodies. You're doing our Salat Janazah, and there you go, the first time seeing a big mass grave of about 300 to 400 bodies at one time in there, and people are so chaotic. People have got nowhere to live, and they've got nothing to eat, and it's just totally chaos. And I was at that time a health and HSC, Health, Safety and Environment Quality Manager in Petronas. So I said, wow, coming to this place, it seems that my health, safety, and environment management system could not work here, because this is a totally a situation which is unprecedented, is, you know, beyond our normal stable life, and it's so, you know, it's so impactful as far as our emotion stability is concerned. Seeing dead bodies, you know, and so on and so forth. So when I came back, and when I share and reflect this with my team, the impact there is, Alhamdulillah, we managed to see an increase in productivity. We managed to see a reduction in terms of overtime claims, because I was managing at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken, was also a group of our tanker drivers, and we can understand their challenges as well. And we see that kind of self-realization, and the amanah, and self-reflection comes in, the part of feeling guilty or insaf, or you know, or things like that. So at the end of the day, it's about realizing and sharing back with people what you saw and what you see. And finally, at the end of the day, it's not about blaming. It's not about blaming. It's not about blaming. It's about becoming an engineer or a head of department who wants to build others to become successful or even better than you are. You know, there's no such thing in the dictionary of being scared, or being afraid to be overshadowed, so-called overshadowed by your team or things like that. Sorry, I do not personally, I do not have that, you know, in my own personal dictionary for now. Okay, and I hope not. So that's the kind of potential employees that you like to have. Now, this is simple, but it's very impactful, at least to me. what the ex-president of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam said. If you're helping someone expecting something in return, you're doing business and not kindness. So just be careful on that. You have to differentiate. If you want to do business, you do business in a professional way, in a very accountable way. But otherwise, it's about giving kindness, and inshallah, you will be returned back with inshallah kindness as well. I have gone through this in many parts of my life journey. I've seen this. I've met with awesome people out there, unsung heroes who doesn't want their name to be actually mentioned, or even the things that they have left behind to be even mentioned by the media and things like that. But they've been doing great in helping this country, in helping their communities, in helping other countries as well. Subhanallah, that is among the things which I have seen myself, that when you are involved in volunteering, and when you are involved in this charity work, it makes you becomes someone which is outstanding and totally different from the normal human being that you see. Now I need to move on. Some of the outcomes that we see of having leaders, and of course having engineers, is who is and who will continue to be involved in dirtying your hands, to go out of your comfort zone, to see the suffering of others. It's a kind of sense of purpose, and definitely nowadays you're talking about credibility and high integrity. Now I'll just take this opportunity to quote to you, by the way, that just a minute. Not sure if you have seen this book, if you have read this book. This is one of the biggest reference back in 2000 by Kozes and Posner, and the essential thing that he had actually said is that credibility, I repeat, credibility is the foundation of leadership, especially for engineers like us. I've got an experience back in the 80s where I've been requested to approve a report. In SIRIM, there are reports which we need to approve after a few tests have been done. And I have chosen not to sign that report, which I could have taken the safe option of like signing it and just toe the line. But because of we engineers have been trained to have our own principles in life, I declined politely of not approving the report, because the impact would be, number one, the material that's going to be approved in that batch will be used in the construction industries. Number two is what happens if there is some failure because of you approving a substandard samples. Number three is the price of non-conformance here is that you will be causing a lot of death, na'uzubillah, and what if the person in that building or in that place happen to be your relative? And definitely the price of non-conformance as well is not only about death, it is about losing opportunity. It is also causing about other type of monetary losses, reputational losses, and so on and so forth. So one day, if inshallah you become a successful engineer, inshallah you will be very credible and people will not question you for your integrity. The other simple aspect that I would like to say as well, because just now I've read this book. I've been a graduate of ESQ in 2007. Petronas sent me, and I was in 2007 Angkatan Pertama about this. Of course, there's so many other things out there, but you are talking about IQ itself nowadays, it's not enough. Felix, IQ itself is not enough. There's so many smart people out there, but they're doing smart accounting. There's just so many people out there who actually doesn't preserve the core. I've been reading books like from Jim Collins, one of the best authors, which I guess many of you have been reading his book as well. In his book titled "Built to Last" in 2002, there were actually about 10 or 11 things that he mentioned that become a pillar or the success of a particular industry or of a particular organization. And there are two things that actually strike me. Number one is he was mentioning about more than just profits. More than just profits. It's not just about the dollar and cents. It's not just about the vertical factor. It is also about the virtual factor. It is not just about the accounting and the P&L and just about graduating and getting good results and a certificate. It is about how you uphold the code of conduct and how you actually uphold to your principle in practicing your engineering knowledge in order to benefit mankind. Okay, so it's more than just profits. And at the same time, Jim Collins was also mentioning about preserve the core and stimulate progress. There's some core things in engineering which we need to hold strongly to it. But at the same time, you can continue to progress with with the latest technologies that we have in the market, with our drone technology, with our satellite technology, and now with so many other things, with COVID coming in. Definitely, subhanallah, please continue to improve that. So the point here is that we can become successful, outstanding, awesome engineers if we stick to certain life principles. And what I have shared with you just now are some of the expectation from the industry. Even if when it comes to a certain extent that you decided not to makan gaji or not to work with anyone, you have your own business. At the end of the day, it's still about credibility. It's still about trust. Remember this finding under the leadership challenge by these two authors came from their research samples from people in 6 different continents in actually more than 50 or 60 different industries, when they list down about the characteristic of admired leaders that the workforce wanted to see. Okay, so it's about integrity, it's about credibility. So allow me to go back to my slides again. Share screen. So it's talking about preparing yourself entering into the workforce, and hopefully, inshallah, one day you become excellent managers and future leaders. Again, when I say leaders here, I'm talking about natural leaders in your own way. Of course, leveraging on networking is very much important. We do not want to have engineers who just know how to calculate and how to solve problems and just talking to machines. But at the end of the day, the impact of your quadruple helix, it's about people, it's about empowering, it's about giving back to people, and also it's about having abundance mindset here. Now, definitely the way that I'm sharing my slides is, of course, from time to time I'm going back and forth, going back to the fundamentals in Islam, fundamentals as humanity, and of course reflection of my current humanitarian involvement, and of course about 35-40 years of University of Life, and of course sharing of the previous working experience, as you have heard or as you have seen just now. Now, this is Dr. Hani Al-Banna, the founder of Islamic Relief back in 1984. I'm proud to say that some of the existing or the retired UTM professors have had a touch of Islamic Relief, definitely, when they were doing their master's or degree or PhD in the UK. In the humanitarian world, with the right mindset that you have, it gives you that courage to see everyone, anyone for that matter, and to help anyone for that matter, in the country or elsewhere. So in this case, it was part of the engagement, networking, and of course explaining to His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, who has been our strong supporter as well back then. This picture was taken, if I'm not mistaken, during the 25 years anniversary of Islamic Relief. Islamic Relief was born in 1984. So 94, I guess it's about 2008 or 2009. And then, of course, from my humble experience, it allows you have got the biggest passport because you've got nothing to hide. We are here trying to think and give the best for the people. We don't have any other intention in mind, but actually to help the needy. And the needy, in fact, does not mean that he or she is poor. So we meet everyone from the head of state, and this was a photo taken, a very important snapshot when Islamic Relief Malaysia was launched in 2005. I was still working in Petronas. I was not a volunteer of Islamic Relief yet. I was a volunteer of other NGOs, but this was a very important moment for us. But the other important thing that would help us when we're involved in charity as well as and in this volunteering world is that what Islamic Relief taught me is as an international or INGOs, our thoughts, our experience, our mindset, and the humble on the ground things that we see allows us to actually share our worldview. In this case, it's not only with the World Islamic Economic Forum. We were being invited to the World Economic Forum, and our CEO back then was Dr. Muhammad Ashmawi. I'm proud to say he's also a mechanical engineer, more than 25 over years with General Motors in the United States. And he flew all the way to UK, to Birmingham, to become the CEO of Islamic Relief worldwide. By the way, this for those who have donated to us before, these are the numbers and statistics never lies. Normally, it would actually tell you the impact of your donation, the impact of your expertise, the impact of your resources, the impact of your way of viraling things and actually telling people about things that we do. Alhamdulillah, it goes on. And we have, of course, never asked for this, but Alhamdulillah, we received this award in 2018 under humanitarian aid category for the governance and as well as for the way we do things in relaying and managing our projects and handling and how we manage the funding from donors. This is our global presence now in more than 45 countries. So what I'm sharing here is actually, it's a global branding, it's a global experience, not only in Malaysia but elsewhere. But what I've been sharing with you are things, mindset and attitude and behavior, which is actually very consistently coming again. Whether you are in US, whether in Africa, whether in Australia, in Malaysia or elsewhere. Okay. It's just a simple, humble experience here. I've been to many countries, seeing a lot of things, being in the worst part, in the most dangerous part of the world. That is our job. That is our core business. That is our KPI in the at least in the last 10 years, being the CEO of Islamic Relief Malaysia. This photo was taken in Irbid, northern Jordan. It was the first day of Ramadan. And this is the children of a Syrian refugee who fled away from Syria, nowhere else to live. By the way, this is not a house. This tent actually was meant for the sheep and for the owner of the land to park his four-wheel drive. So we found this family here and we did some intervention there. This was actually in Amman, Jordan in 2014. You see how ingenious we can go far if we have that humanitarian mindset and that feelings of how we can actually help the poor, how we can continue to lead. These children, of course, they don't understand. Of course, my Arabic is a kindergarten standard Arabic, but with your body language never lies. So full-heartedly, we just try to give a psychosocial intervention here, make them happy. I was singing, if I'm not mistaken, some Malaysian songs, some Islamic nasheed, and they were so happy. They were so happy, and this in this camp, in this Palestinian camp is among the biggest in the world and has been there since 1967. And as far as these children is concerned, they were actually the third generation, and they have not seen their land or where they were actually from. They were grown up in this camp, and this camp is so big that it now becomes like a city. It is a city in itself. Yep, another biggest hottest spot in the world of being in the Gaza office in Islamic Relief Palestine in Gaza. Islamic Relief Palestine in Gaza have been there since 1994, and we registered ourselves in 1998. So we brought with us, this is where I wanted to share with you how synergy and cooperation is actually very, very important. It's not about triplet, it's about quadruplet. Helix, which you say just now, we brought the media guys in, and we brought with us two volunteer, Cik Asmah Ibrahim, specialist in the environmental management, and Sister Zaliza, she's the owner of Genius Outlet. At that point in time, our Islamic Relief Palestine office wanted to have some understanding or some insight about environmental management in Gaza, as well as about how to manage the traumatic situation for preschool or for the kindergarten children. So Sister Zaliza have got actually that expertise in actually running her own business in the Ingenious Outlet group of kindergarten. Okay, this was a different trip in a different year when we actually visited 250,000 of these Syrian beneficiaries whom we are actually helping through Islamic Relief Jordan in Irbil office. And this is just for a reflection for us from Mufti Ismail Meng. Another reflection for us to ponder that we're supposed to be here to become the mercy of the world, not just for the Muslims, but for everyone for that matter. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The biggest passport, mandate given by the Creator, by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala to us as the Khilafah, as the Vicegerent. You know, what more as an engineer? Okay. And this is just a hadith which says that you cannot say that you don't care for people because you have to care for them, because with all the climate change, with all the disaster that's happening, at the end of the day is what impact are you actually leaving behind to the community around you, or to the needy themselves. Okay. At the end of the day, as an engineer, we hope that you will become a successful engineer one day, who will always strive for the greater good. You will be driven by not just money for that matter. Of course, money is important, sustainability of business is important, but there should be other greater reasons for doing the thing. Of course, not only intelligent of IQ, but also have a high integrity and moral compass. I've given an example in SIRIM just now, and I'll try to give you more examples later, inshallah. And it has to be network. You need to have your network there. You need to have the balance between empathy and expectation, and must be able to communicate and of course and influence others towards your point of view, but of course to influence people towards the positive kind of point of view. Okay, it's basically my humble office here, not that big. Prior to 2010, yes, I've been attending quite a number of conference and of course dialogue, multilateral and so on. I had my time of 2 years serving in Economic and Planning Unit in the Prime Minister's Department, of course giving technical advice on oil and gas, representing Petronas then. Yeah, this was my part of my corporate lifetime journey, but along the way, although busy doing official things, but my weekend and my night time has been continuously also focusing on helping people around you. Going through development leadership courses, thank you to my previous company. Back in 2004, I was being exposed to management development program, and I received this platinum award. Didn't ask for it again. It was given, but you know, it was not something that I asked, but it was something given by Petronas Dagangan at that time, because of my contribution in helping the poor outside of Selangor as well, outside of Malaysia. Since 2010, things change. It's not that I resign. I never believe in actually resigning or leaving the corporate or my government experiences behind. It's about transformation. It's about hijrah. It's about journey. All those project management experience, all those safety experience, you know, all those which I've got. By the way, I was a certified safety and health officer by DOSH, you know, SHO. I was so lazy to take my, not to say lazy, I didn't have time to pursue for my PE. I was a member of BEM since 1986, but I didn't pursue that because at that time they were using logbook, and it was very skewed towards civil engineers. As a mechanical engineer, what my oil and gas. it takes a little bit for us to tweak a little bit to prepare our logbook. Then I said it's okay, maybe later. So I didn't have it, but along the way, the engineering principles in handling people, in actually handling projects and so on, has been something which has been embedded in the way we design our projects. As you can see here, even when carrying this box, this food pack which we give from Islamic Relief, normally it would weigh about 15 kilograms. And people like me, Apache, of at that time, I was about 55 or 56 years old, and I have to be careful here that when you carry something, your posture, it has got ergonomic impacts there. So we have to make sure that you have that while you're straighten yourself up. It's 15 kilogram. This does not include the other 15 kilogram of rice. So total of 25 kilogram is normally what we give as an emergency food pack to a family of 5 for their food for about 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah. So anyway. And of course, it teaches you to engage with various stakeholders. This is the Pengarah of Hospital Temerloh, and Haji Amin was from Worldwide Holding, Selangor State Government owned company, and they wanted to help and donate at that time for our beneficiaries, our flat beneficiaries in Maran, in Pahang, and there we are. We believe in openness, in actually telling the beneficiaries, telling the donors, look, it's more important for you to come and see what has been done, how actually we design the program, the projects for you, and that then and of course you need to give briefings and briefings and briefings, and that is actually very 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 important, because how you say, what you say, it actually help to build a caring world, because we're telling the multiple or the various stakeholders that these are the things that we're giving, we are coming into your area, and if there's anything else that we can be of resource or useful together, cohesiveness and the teamwork is very very important. It allows me also to go to Singapore twice at least, from Majlis Agama Islam Singapore, to receive donation from the Singaporean. I forgot the name of this gentleman, but he came all the way from the Malaysian embassy to actually witness. The Singaporeans gave donation to help with our flood beneficiaries in Kelantan, and the second time when I went down, it's for our education projects in Gaza, Palestine. Okay, of course, we as professional humanitarians, we go through all these trainings and capacity building as well, like other corporates. And of course, being a big family, this is something which I like to share with you. As engineers, don't actually stinge on your knowledge and your experience. You have to like actually sharing it with people. And of course, we brought in Brother Fadullah from IR Australia. Whenever he comes back to Malaysia, we'll say, come in, brother, and share with us your experience. And we are actually being very motivated by him. At I think his age now is about 78 or 79. Okay, engagement with humanitarian icon, and of course, the bottom line here is we help all, we engage with all sorts of people in the society. These are some of the families which we have helped and empowered, and this is another one. And of course, in hiring and managing and retaining staff as well, now as we move forward, it's very important for us to get people with the right mindset. Of course, to be a humanitarian, you can come from various backgrounds, but what's important is your attitude and your mindset, for that matter. Yeah. Of course, we go and give talks and lectures to everyone. We engage and we dialogue with the media. Of course, it's important for them to know how the money is being sent, who receives it. The 4W and the 1H. This is something of our bread and butter as well. Of course, at the same time, brothers and sisters, dear colleagues, it is also about, when you say about volunteerism and charity here, it's not just about money, for that matter. It's about sharing your experience, your thoughts, your views, your knowledge, bringing your technical knowledge in, and building, of course, the young generation themselves. And of course, we have to manage and handle corporate donors as well along the way. Yes. from the highest in the society to the people in the kampung and the real people who are actually suffering on the ground. We are there, and this is one of our staff and our volunteers on the ground. Yeah, real work, real stuff here, helping the needy then in Malaysia. This was one of my engagement with Islamic Relief Kosovo. Because we're in 45 countries, it helps, with your engineering mindset and what you have gone through, in managing people. We learn from them, they learn from us. And this is one of, I do not have time to share and talk about this family, but they were actually struggling at negative 10 degrees Celsius, no toilet in their house. And you can see their heating system, it's just so old. It's actually it's very rusty, as it corrodes, has been actually corroding. And what happened was they are actually inhaling all the poisonous vapor that is coming in. But what choice do they have? Because this is the only heater that they have in their house. Yeah, in Bangladesh, I just like to share here that Norilan was our staff before. She's about, that point in time, she's about 57 years old. I'm 54, 55. And I said, let's just carry this bundle of water. And this actually tells us, you will only appreciate water when you carry a bucket of it. Yeah. Yeah. In Amparam, Sri Lanka, this is where 9 hours from Colombo has been used to be under the control of Tamil Ilam. No go for outsiders, but alhamdulillah, we managed to go in, yeah, giving smiles to them. This is why I wanted you guys to come in, yeah, because it's in Bosnia. Datuk Zul, of course, we met with everywhere we go, we will make a courtesy visit to meet with the Malaysian ambassadors in that host country. Of course, this was in the High Commission of Malaysia in Dhaka. Yeah, receiving donation the night before I left for my trip to Gaza from Her Royal Highness Tuanku Puan Hajiah. Yeah, this is now part of an extra responsibility in YSS. Inshallah, happy to assist in whatever ways I can. And this is our part of our family council among the world CEOs, the CEO of IR USA, IR Malaysia, IR Worldwide, IR South Africa, and IR Switzerland in Addis Ababa, when we had a courtesy visit to meet up with the African Union dignitaries. Yep. And of course, this is with our ambassador in Bosnia, our ambassador in Cambodia. And this was my second trip to Somalia, a very, very dangerous spot in the world, but alhamdulillah, we are there. We're there to see what we can give as far as our engineering in our drilling experience is concerned, to get water for them. And before I close, we also, in the third sector, we work in system. We believe in the code of ethics and values, the standard policies and procedures for that matter. We've got our own vision and mission, yeah, of where we're actually heading for on how we manage the money or the trust given by donors. And last but not least, is about accountability framework, on how the more transparency you are, the better it is. So when you do your design, as an example, if the factor of safety is 2, don't increase it to 3 just because you wanted to add more material so that you can get more commission and you get more profits for your consultancy work. That's not amanah. You have to be very transparent. You have to make sure that your design is based on the factor safety of 2.0. You have to make sure that you give what has been agreed in your contract as per what has been promised there, not some standard, and not to actually cut on corners, because the impact will be very great to the safety and to the people who will be using the facilities which you have designed. So we are on our way to build a caring world. We hope that you will continue to be part of that journey as well, whether you will graduate, whether you will continue to do your PhD, your masters, and so on. We believe that at the end of the day, the big picture here is, while we are sitting today with the economic inequalities that we have got 65 million refugees in the world now. We've got 1.5 billion people earning less than 5 ringgit a day. We have got more than 850 million people sleeping hungry, and we have got more than 3 million children that is dying because of malnutrition. I guess with that, then my conclusion would be, number one is living is about giving. We want to continue to create sukarelawan yang akan menjadi negarawan. Yeah, volunteers will finally become statesperson. We want to develop credible natural leaders who will continue to leave impact and positive legacies to humankind, inshallah. I guess with that, then I will stop here first, and I'll hand it over back to Prof. Dato. Thank you very much, and I'll be happy to receive questions and answers. Oh, to Puan Murni, sorry.
Thank you so much, Hj Zairul, for your insightful and inspiring sharing with us. We believe your sharing today will benefit and inspiring for our students, our staff, our alumni, and also our community as well. And thank you, Haji, for accepting our invitation. It's our privilege to have you today. And it's a good have you as our captain. Despite of your busy schedule, you're giving your precious time with us. And also thank you for our viewers today for your passion and keep your interest with COI, Captain of Industry. We do encourage our viewers to share a question and thought with Hj Zairul today. Okay, this is the first questions from Muhammad Afifi Abdul Mukti. Wow, tak sempat I bagi soalan. Okay, the viewers first. Alright. Assalamualaikum. Jazakallah Zairul for Hj Zairul for enlightening presentation. Volunteerism can also be done at local level. There are many local NGO that look forward to professionals to run them, but sad to say very few come forward. I attribute this to several reasons. First, very few local university teachers are themselves involved in volunteerism. Second, the concept of graduating on hinders many undergraduates from doing volunteering, especially if that student have to take leave for some semesters of his student. Right. What's your opinion?
Sorry, Puan Murni, your line is breaking up. Hello.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, you want me to respond now?
Yes. What your response?
Can I ask Hj Zairul to close his PowerPoint presentation so that he can read, so that you can read the comment from our viewers? Yeah, just stop sharing.
Oh yeah, sorry. I think I've stopped sharing already. Yeah. Yeah, but I can read the comment myself as well. Yeah, it's okay. I'm fine. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Actually, UTM is not. In fact, I'm happy to highlight here that UTM was the first IPTA to sign an MOU with us back then, and has been renewed again by Prof. Dato' Wahid. Now, but at the same time, there are other universities who have actually gone a little bit more advanced. I would agree with you, this is a Prof or Dato', I'm not sure, Tuan Muhammad Afifi, that true. Yes, we have we have had a good time and a good model with University Sains Islam Malaysia, USIM, because when Datuk Seri Idris Jusoh, if I'm not mistaken, decided to embark on this gap year initiative, I guess a certain selected IPTAs were actually given an opportunity to choose partners, and somehow or other USIM decided to choose us. We designed the program along the student needs. Of course, there were 2 batches that came in. They were attached to us for 1 year. Alhamdulillah. By the way, they were not even engineering students. They were Al-Quran, Sunnah, and they were actually doing muamalat and so on. But the way that we exposed them is we trained them to become fundraisers. We gave them that confidence. You can imagine they were doing basking, and this Ustazah was actually Saturday night in Bukit Bintang, campaigning to people about our water well project in Somalia. You know, it's that kind of thing. And Alhamdulillah, we managed to send them to Bangladesh. Some of them we send them, we're supposed to be sending them to Bosnia as well, but something happened that they couldn't go to Bosnia. But I agree with you that there are so many local NGOs, and by the way, we are also serving locally. My KPI is to serve 30,000 needy people in Malaysia. And of course, these students and the students coming in, or the interns coming in from various universities, we expose them to local to our local projects as well. And at the same time, I do agree with you when this gap year, the challenge of this gap year concept was that parents have been pressuring their children. Of course, we do understand, to graduate as soon as possible because they need to earn income for their family and so on. So that has been a big dilemma. I totally agree with you. But as far as you're concerned, we will continue to actually be opening our arms to you and actually ready to have students, not only students, of course, lecturers, of course, all of your staff in UTM to be with us, because seeing is not only believing, it is convincing, and it will become actually a life changing game player for you. Thank you for that input. Yeah.
Okay. All right. While waiting for next question from our viewers. Okay, for you, Haji. By 2020 and future, in your opinion, how Islamic Relief would manage to inspire our community, so that they will understand and appreciate the profound impact of the engineering profession on socio-cultural system, and the value of an engineering education to engineers working successfully in non-engineering jobs, specifically like NGOs and any kind of volunteerism.
I'm trying to see the comment now. Where is
So
it?
um, we are
So
still waiting for next comment from our viewers, but this is actually my personal
your
question.
person. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Okay, being a practicing engineer myself, I believe actually action speaks louder than words. Number one. Number two is people wanted to see your action. I mean, if you are an engineer for that matter, definitely whatever you've got in the university, it's only a passport for you. It's like a driving license. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's your right mindset and your common sense, and then of course being ready to learn from others. That is where then your experience will come in. And from there, that's why initially I was telling just now about the big picture. What do you want to be? If you just want to have your own business, well, fine, you have your own business. But then remember, with the biggest cross-cutting issue that is being handled by international humanitarian world just now, which is climate change, you will see that we need your satellite technology, you need your robotic technology, you need all your titanium welding, or those kind of stuff to actually now come in, which definitely I've lost track because I'm not keeping track of those anymore. But I think this is where I think as engineers, you would actually come in and give the best design and give the best thoughts towards whatever things that you do to give back to the society. Of course, definitely, if you have got a consultant, or even when I was in SIRIM, what was being given to me was actually to do testing. It was material testing. It was actually technical services, and going into automotive things, which at that point in time, my background was not automotive. I mean, engineering. Of course, those are the basic materials and whatnot. But your mindset of ready to learn, ready to think that you wanted to create the best car, maybe for Malaysia, because Proton was not out yet at that point in time, and how we can make sure that the safety design is being embedded in it, would then actually help to push you further to do your best. I'm being very frank here. I didn't have time to think even about my promotion. By the way, I was being offered in 2001 by my big boss at that time in SIRIM. He's still around in the industry until today. I salute him. He said, Zairul, we have earmarked you to go to do your masters in the UK under automotive, especially. But I said, priority at that time it was for my family and for other things. So but the mindset to help the country is still there. So I forsake that, but at the same time I still carry the mindset with me, that at the end of the day, is when you graduate, it's of course to help others, so that will actually help you to help yourself, in short. Yeah.
Inshallah. Thank you, Haji, for your kind response. Okay. Um, from Morning Day, from I think she's from Canada. We had great volunteers experience with Islamic Relief Malaysia. We organized 3 Canadian youth to come to KL exchange knowledge and learning. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Can I just stop with that out of interest of time, because this is Dr. Monim. Dr. Monim is actually our programs director for Islamic Relief Canada. There's a term called community links. This is where we are putting things into reality, that this world is borderless. What happened was Islamic Relief Canada is one of the funder to our Rohingyan school in Kajang. So what happened was Islamic Relief Canada raises a lot of funds from the Canadian donors. And then, of course, the donors wanted to come and see for themselves the project. So Dr. Monim actually was among the person who is key in arranging for their volunteers to come to Malaysia. So linking between the donors and how impactful for them to see themselves, the children whom they have been helping all the way from Canada. Thank you, Dr. Monim, for being with us. And the youth.
this is from Zafira Hashim. Assalamualaikum Haji. Thank you for your inspired sharing. May I know who is your idol locally and globally?
Of course, as a Muslim, it's Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because at the end of the day, this humanitarian work is not NGO's work. It is the work of the Rasul. It is the work of the prophets. Yeah, from Adam all the way to Jesus, to Muhammad, and so on. Because that's the real altruism. It's others before them. They sacrifice themselves just to bring good to others. Okay, so if on that part is that. But at the same time also there are some other interesting leaders. He has passed away, but I think I'm sure you know Nelson Mandela, how his magnanimous, that is the abundance mindset which you can see. He was being in prison for so many years, and when he was released from prison, he actually forgive all his political foes and say, let's start a new beginning for the nation. In short. Of course, in Malaysia also we have a lot. Yeah, we have a lot.
Thank you so much, Haji. We just at 1 hour session today, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for our viewers. Okay, now I'll pass back to Dr. Rafiq for his closing remarks. And to our viewers, stay safe, stay healthy, keep your social distancing, and over to you, Dr.
Thank you, Murni, for chairing the session, and to our distinguished speaker today, Hj Zairul. Thank you so very much. Jazakallahu khairal jaza. Jazakallahu khairan kathira for such a very great sharing session. We here in UTM are very proud to have an engineer, a mechanical engineer like you, to lead such a great charitable organization. And I believe that your sharing session has been a great motivation to us all, especially our 10,000 engineering students. Yes, we have close to 10,000 engineering students here at the Faculty of Engineering UTM. By the way, Hj Zairul, just to let you know that I'm also a mechanical engineer like you. And so, but for my PhD, I did some research on orthopedics. So it is part of biomedical engineering. And just to share my experience back then, when I was doing my research for my PhD, the project was on orthopedic implants. So, implant for the disabled. So part of that project, I feel like it is my contribution to the community. Yeah, but most of the time I feel like I need to complete my PhD. So it is about myself rather than the contribution that I'm currently doing, working on this implant. But later on in life, as I grow more mature, I realize that actually it is the other way around. Just like you mentioned, it is about others, not yourself. But back then, when I was doing my research, it's all about, I need to complete my research, get my research done, get my PhD. Even though the project is related to my contribution to the community, but that is something like a small part in my heart. But later on, I realized that it should be the other way around. My project, my contribution should be more valuable than the research that I'm currently do for my own certificate, for the PhD certificate that I'm after. So thank you very much, Hj Zairul, for pointing it the right way, that it is actually our contribution to others is more important. As we as engineers, it's about others, not really about ourselves. So again, thank you very much, Hj Zairul, for this great sharing session. we wish you all the best, and may Allah help you in all your future endeavor. And to all of you watching this webinar, thank you for watching. Do stay tuned because we have many more sharing session to all of you. And thank you to everybody. And again, thank you so much to Hj Zairul. Thank
My
you, everybody.
pleasure. Thank you very
Assalamualaikum
much.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good day. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.